Anas, good morning to you once again. It's Wednesday, the 14th of January 2026. The program is On the Lord's Side, Christian Perspectives on News and Current Events. My name is Olufemi Oguntoku. You can follow me on X at Olufemi OG. You can follow Gospel Best Radio on X at Gospel Best Radio. I want to begin this morning by joining the voices of many activists in Nigeria and people of good conscience in decrying the death of one Mrs. Calista Ifedi under illegal detention at Wawa Barracks. This is the story. This was published by Omoyele Sowore on X, and it has caught the attention of many people, as it should. The DSS, that the Department of State Services, for those who don't know, that is the secret police in Nigeria, said to be an intelligence gathering arm, but has become notorious, if you want to be as objective as possible, in many instances. According to this report published on X, it says the Department of State Services has admitted that Mrs. Calista Ifedi, who was detained since 2021. Now you want to ask yourself, before I go any further, even before mentioning the reason for the detention, I want you to reflect on the fact that a person could be detained for that long. 2021, this is a person who was not charged to court, which is clearly illegal, clearly unconstitutional. It bears no buttress. You don't even need to begin to cite constitutional provisions to prove that. People who are accused of offences are to be charged to court within 24 hours or 48 hours, depending on the location where they are held or where they were arrested. If there is a court nearby, within 48 hours at the most, they should be charged to court, and then it should be the duty of the court whether to remand that person in prison or to try that matter. And I guess our laws should also move to the place where the term of trial should also be stipulated in the Constitution, because now we have many people languishing in detention, languishing in prison custody, who have not been tried, who have been charged to court, whose plea has been taken by the court, but who have not, many people who have not been tried, and they're there. So I think, and this is something that many activists should reflect on. Our constitution should also provide the time frame for bringing people to trial. The trial should commence as soon as possible. You cannot just leave people in detention for so long, so much so that at the time when you eventually get to the trial, they've even perhaps spent more than the stipulated penalty, for the crime for which they are accused. So it is bad enough that this woman was detained since 2021. She has now died. Remember, that's where we started from. She has now died in the custody of the Department of State Services. She was detained since 2021 for what? For allegedly selling food to IPOB members. What's IPOB? That is the Independent People of Biafra, some group, agitating for the independence of the area popularly known as Biafra in Nigeria, basically the southeast part of Nigeria. I remember that the Nigerian Civil War was about the right of the Biafran people, the people from the southeast of Nigeria, to independence, to self-government. And this woman was accused of selling food to them. Of selling food to them. You may say, selling food to them itself will not be a crime, but if you couch it as aiding illegal activities, maybe you can find some crimes there. But the point is, as far as I know, she was not charged to court. She was held in detention since 2021, and now the DSS has admitted that she has died. Her detention was unlawful. She was denied due process, and reports indicate that she fell ill in custody without receiving adequate medical care. I'm reading again from Omoyele Sowore's tweet. And then Sowore wrote further, quote, this admission confirms a grave abuse of power and a tragic failure of the Nigerian state to protect life. Mrs. Calista Ifedi died at Wawa Barracks 2 years ago under unlawful detention by lawless department. I did not even get this. Can you imagine? She died 2 years ago, and we're just getting to know. Can you imagine this? So if you want to understand the horror of lawlessness and the wickedness of impunity, well, this is one story that illustrates it. So this woman was arrested in 2021. She fell ill, and then because she was arrested by the secret police, the family did not have access to her. But now, 2026, the DSS is admitting that, oh, that woman, oh, she died in 2021. What? What impunity? What wickedness? Omoyele wrote saying, I share this painful account to bear witness to a grave injustice and to expose the burden of impunity inflicted on Nigerians by the DSS. The DSS has now finally acknowledged the death of Mrs. Calista Ifedi. She was arrested alongside her husband, Sunday Ifedi, at their home in Enugu on November 23, 2021. According to her husband, who was only released in December 2025, the last time he saw his wife was in March, when they were in 2022, when they were taken from DSS headquarters to Wawa Barracks. So we don't even know exactly when she died, right? Now, following sustained advocacy by Amnesty Nigeria, myself, and Barrister Adeyanju, Deji Adeyanju, and many others, it became clear that Mrs. Ifedi's so-called offence was that members of IPOB had allegedly bought food at a restaurant in Enugu. For this, she was violently taken away, disappeared into detention, and denied due process. Even if, this is my commentary, even if she was aiding IPOB, even if she was doing something illegal, there's something called the rule of law. And the rule of law simply says, in its simplest form, everything should be done according to the law. That all persons and all authorities are subject to the law, must do everything according to the law. The law says, if a person is suspected of having committed a crime, you investigate and you charge the person to court within a time frame. Did you? No. So she was kept in prison unlawfully for that long, since 2021. Now, DSS is admitting that she has died. This is sad. This is wicked. And one of the issues I have with the practice of journalism in Nigeria is that the important things are not focused on. We don't focus on the important things. Imagine if we had credible journalism in Nigeria and all media houses focused on something like this. Somebody ought to take responsibility. Somebody in government, somebody in DSS ought to take responsibility. There is an office that is superintending over the DSS. There is a DSS director. There is somebody there is the person who arrested the person in charge of detainees, the person who ought to have brought it up that this person has not been charged to court, whatever the intelligence against the person. Somebody wrote saying, oh, so was she supposed to ask people coming into a restaurant, hey, are you a member of IPOB, before selling food to them? This is as sad as it comes. It's as sad. And, when I first came across this story, I said to myself, one of the reasons why we should be very sad and alarmed and worried is that this thing was done in our name. There are some people out there who may say, no, it was not done in my name. I did not agree to this. I do not even agree with things like this. Well, this is our government. This is an agency acting for the government of Nigeria. It was done in the name of Nigeria. And that is why you would understand when Daniel was praying in captivity, praying for the restoration for the end of the captivity. What was he praying about? Or rather, how did he pray? Did he say our leaders have sinned? Did he mention those who have? Did he say the DSS, this and that? I said we have sinned. Because when the government of Nigeria or the government of any nation does anything evil, anything sinful, when any agency of government does anything wicked, it is done in the name of the whole, in the name of the country. And that is why it is important for us when we pray to also pray to pray that the Lord will forgive our nation. So added to all the horrors and wickedness of Nigeria again is the matter of this woman, Mrs. Ifedi, Mrs. Calista Ifedi. I never knew her. I'm sure you never knew her, but she was somebody's wife, somebody's mom, somebody's daughter, somebody's friend. She was God's daughter. She was created in the image of God. And Nigeria dealt with her so unlawfully. Even if she was indeed aiding IPOB. This is not the way that the law stipulates that she should be treated. She was entitled to better treatment than she received. It is wickedness. It tells us, it reminds us that it could happen to anyone. It reminds us because we can reasonably extrapolate that something like this is happening to so many other people. It reminds us that this is happening to so many other people. It reminds us that many atrocities are committed in the name of the entity called Nigeria. It reminds us that when we pray to God, we should be asking Him to forgive us of the sins of our leaders and those acting in the name of this country. We should be praying also that their crimes will be exposed and that they will be brought to book. This is sad, and we commiserate with the immediate family members of this woman. As a member of the human community, we sorrow for her. We must lament this impunity in Nigeria, this wickedness. We must decry it. No one, I do not want anyone on the Lord's side for political reasons or for the reason of maybe you agree with IPOB or not, to then whitewash this or make light of this. We have to call evil what it is. Does the Bible not say to us that woe to them who call evil good and good evil? Whether you support IPOB or not, whatever your political preference, whether you support the government of the day or not, if evil is staring you in the face, it is your duty to call it out, to treat it as one, and to condemn it. And we condemn this, and I pray the Lord will grant peace and comfort to the family members of this woman, Calista Ifedi, and that those responsible for treating her horribly and wickedly will not go unpunished. We know that they will never go unpunished before God. We pray that the day will come when our nation, our collective conscience will have no rest in matters like this. You know, want that day to come when people in government, when they hear of development like this, they are troubled in their souls. Unfortunately, what we have now is that we have people who, when they hear things like this, they just carry on. They just carry on, treating it as if, it's just yet another thing. I'm talking about carrying on in the face of injustice, in the face of wickedness. I want to talk about the case of the students from the Ambrose Ali University in Edo State. You must have heard it. I do hope you've heard that story of people from Ambrose Ali University in Ekpoma in Edo State. I came across the protest by students of this university over the weekend when a brother of mine, we served in the choir together, when he posted it on his WhatsApp status, and I saw it, and I liked it, and I asked him about it, and I was told that in Edo State, that the people in Edo State, many parts of Edo State and Ekpoma in particular, they have been terrorized by kidnappers. Can you imagine that? Living in an area where some faceless people, some bandits, just come into your town and territory and they take people, they kidnap them, they take them away. Most likely they will ask for ransom later. But from what we know about Nigeria, what has happened in Nigeria in recent times, when they take people like that, they demand for ransom, and sometimes even when the ransom is paid, they do what? They kill them. Anyway, if that was happening in your town, in your city, would you say that it is wrong for the youth of that town or city to go out in protest? Would you say it is wrong? Should they not have gone out to protest that the government was not doing enough to prevent the kidnapping? Anyway, the students of Ambrose Ali University then took to the streets and protested over the incessant kidnappings in the Edo State. But you know what? The government then thought it right to do what? To arrest not the kidnappers, to go after not to go after the kidnappers. From what we know so far, I do not know of any kidnapper, any bandit who operated in Edo State who has been caught, who has been charged to court. But you know what the government did? The government then went to the hostel of these students in the night and arrested them and took them to court, and a court did what? Remanded them in prison. And this reminds me of one of the ironies of the age we live in. You see, people, there is a wrong has been committed. Let's even assume that they did wrong. You know what? They look at what has been done and ignore what led to the action. They look at a person's reaction, and this is what people who are, in my own opinion, who are wicked, people who have evil agenda. This is what they do. They focus on your reaction, and they make an issue out of your reaction while ignoring the cause of the reaction. Somebody does something wrong, and in this case, what is wrong is that the government did not stem the tide of kidnapping. That is the wrong. That is the original evil, the original sin. But now that is ignored, or you may say the original sin is the kidnapping itself, those bandits, those kidnappers. Now, we do not focus on them, but we focus on who? On those who are complaining about it. And these things happen many times in the culture nowadays. If you pay attention, somebody is complaining about some things, and people say, "Look, this person is complaining because he has a political agenda. This person is complaining because, or rather, this person is complaining in an illegal way. This person is complaining using a platform that should not be used." But you ignore the cause of the complaint. You ignore the original sin, the original evil. So I agree with this person who wrote, saying the government should be blamed for not performing their primary duty to protect life and property. Free the students. And that should be the call from all of us. Free the students. Free them. How can it be that the response of the government should be to put those students on trial who protested that innocent people were being kidnapped? How can it be the response of the government to do that? And so we now have the Ambrose Ali University Alumni Association, and thank God that at least we have one association with some courage to speak up. As an aside, many people have said that in time past, when something like this happened, you know what would have followed? You'd have heard of responses from the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS. They would have responded. But you know what has happened now? Many people believe that NANS has now become factionalized. So you have different factions claiming to speak for NANS. More than that, they are now in the pockets of the government. You see, the successive governments in Nigeria have come to understand that activists and pressure groups are up for sale, which speaks to our collective conscience. That's our moral. That's our moral bearing in Nigeria right now. That activists and pressure groups, they are up for sale, and they know that if you can buy them, and then you are going to have a field day doing whatever you want. And so, 52 students of the Ambrose Ali University are arrested, detained for protesting the incessant kidnappings in Edo State, and NANS, the National Association of Nigerian Students, has not spoken a word. But thankfully, the Ambrose Ali University Alumni Association released a statement clearly decrying what has happened, and we thank God that at least we have one association with enough courage to speak up on this matter. We should lend our voices as well to this matter. We should lend our voices. This is wrong. What should be done is to focus on the evil of the kidnapping, to bring those who are kidnapping others, to bring them to book, to show up security. How can it be difficult for a government to stop this? Right? And if you look on social media, you find pictures, videos. You find different videos. There's about, maybe not different, but there's a particular video captured by CCTV of bandits, scaling a fence, and how they actually abducted certain persons. And so when I heard the statement by the governor of Edo State yesterday, whose antecedents give no encouragement. I mean, when I heard his statement, I was not happy at all. I wanted to listen to it.
Okay, now somebody came out from a car, entered his house, you kidnapped him. You did not even ask for us, or you did not ask for anything. The people that kidnapped this guy marked their face. That is not the traditional way of Fulanis.
So I wanted to listen to what this man said, the governor of Edo State, the man who is supposed to be in charge of the security of Edo State, giving excuses in a manner of speaking for the kidnappers. It was saying that, look, those who are protesting are jumping the gun. Hey, somebody has been arrested and no ransom has been demanded. And then it was saying, in a manner of speaking, how can you jump to conclusion that they are Fulani herdsmen? Whereas, in other parts of the country, it is known that these Fulani herdsmen have been responsible for these things in part of Edo State as well. But it was quick here to defend them and say, look, they abducted the man, they've not even asked for ransom. How can you quickly conclude that the abduction was part of the kidnapping and banditry in the country? And said, look, these people mark their faces, and that is not the way the Fulani herdsmen, and that's not the way they operate. And so people should not have protested. I'm going to play it again, but and then I'm going to play it in full, although because it balanced the statement a bit, but I want to play it in full right from the beginning again. Listen to it.
Now, somebody came out from a car, entered his house, you kidnapped him, you did not even ask for ransom, you did not ask for anything. The people that kidnapped this guy marked their face. That is not the traditional way of Fulanis. And he did not go far. They killed him. The next day, they came up with sentiment, protest,
can you imagine?
looting.
Sentiment,
this is
protest.
not acceptable. We must make sure that we bring these people to book. We must.
So I want to listen to that. I said we must make sure we bring these people to book. Which people? He was talking about those who, according to him, organized the sentiment protests. And I don't even know what that means. Sentiment protest. We must bring these people to book. I think all of us should be angry that there is a political leader who, faced with this set of circumstances, considers it the priority to bring to book the people who are protesting the kidnapping. We must bring these people to book, he said. So after that, he balanced it down. So it is my duty to play that as well.
Okay, now somebody came out from a car, entered his house, you kidnapped him, you did not even ask for ransom, you did not ask for anything. The people that kidnapped this guy marked their face. That is not the traditional way of Fulanis. And he did not go far. They killed him. The next day, they came up with sentiment, protest, looting. This is not acceptable. We must make sure that we bring these people to book. We must.
And then people clapped.
We must go after them.
We must go after them, the protesters.
The way we are going after the kidnappers,
Good.
the same way we will go after them.
Now you're going to find that in all intellectual honesty, the bit about going after the kidnappers appears to be an afterthought here. I would expect, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that if a governor was faced with this same set of circumstances, the governor ought to go out and say to those who are protesting and saying, oh, you have good grounds to be angry, to be concerned, to be apprehensive. If kidnappings continue in your town unabated, would it not be apprehensive that it could happen to you or to your loved one? Would it not be in your interest to go out and protest it? And protest the seemingly helplessness of the government? So I suppose that what a governor ought to do, and I ask you to correct me if I'm wrong, would be to go out there and say, look, I understand your fears, I understand your apprehension. We are actually on top of the matter. We're actually investigating these things. We're actually taking steps to forestall further occurrences of these things. Please be calm and ensure that your protests do not turn into a destructive riot. And if some people have taken advantage of the protest to riot or to destroy property, to bring them to justice, but I would expect that the priority of a government would be what? Would be those who are kidnapping, would be to bring to book those who are kidnapping people, to punish them, to identify them, to arrest them and bring an end to the kidnapping. How can it possibly be your priority to say, no, we are going to punish them? Because, unfortunately, many of our political leaders see these things from the lens of politics. Perhaps they're saying to themselves, oh, these students don't support us, or perhaps maybe they're acting for political agents. That is not the point. Is it not the case that people are being kidnapped? Is that not the case? So ignoring the original evil and then focusing on the response to the evil and trying to cast aspersion on the response to the evil is evil itself. That's an evil in itself. And so we started from the case of that woman, Mrs. Calista Ifedi, who we understand was detained by the Department of State Services since 2021 for selling food to IPOB members, who has not been confirmed by DSS to have died in custody, who was never charged to court. This is heartbreaking, this is wrong. And then followed by this news from Edo State that the students of the Ambrose Ali University in Ekpoma, who were protesting the incessant, unchecked kidnappings in their town, have been arrested, taken to court, and the court has thought it right to detain them. We look at all this and we lament the wickedness in Nigeria. It is our duty to lament it. It is our duty to condemn it, and it's our duty to pray that God will raise for us leaders who fear Him, right? Leaders who fear Him, leaders who truly think about the interest of the people. I'm talking about leaders who will do right, or who will act from the viewpoint of the interest of the people. Leaders who will not give us reasons to think of them as being complicit in all of this. Because if you listen to Nigerians speaking freely, they will tell you that they strongly suspect that political leaders are complicit in all this. And when we're engaging with the story of the United Arab Emirates, are being concerned about the radicalization, about Islamic extremism in the UK. Yesterday, if you listen to yesterday's episode of this program, we spoke extensively about the irony of the United Arab Emirates, a Muslim majority country, concerned about the infiltration of Islamic radicals in UK, a historically Christian country. The irony of it, and we mentioned that when you look at Europe and the UK in particular, sometimes you wonder, what is it with the political leaders there? Is it naivety? Is it that they're just naive, so much so that they see what is going on, Islam steadily gaining ground and not doing anything? Could it be naivety? Could it be simplicity, which is the euphemism for being foolish? Or could it be complicity? Is it that they are complicit in it? In the US, many people who tend to treat Islamic extremism with kid gloves, they are said to be complicit. It is said that many journalists, many opinion molders, many people in the academia in the US are in the pocket of Qatar. Qatar is said to have quite a large fund by which it truth be said, compromises the opinions of people or buys people. So what has happened in the US and has happened in many parts of Europe is that you have wealthy Arab nations, endowing chairs, professorial chairs in different universities, giving lavish grants for research to people in the academia, advertising on media platforms, so much so that these people in the academia, the owners of this media, then become beholden to the viewpoints of Qatar in particular, and that's the complicity. And many people are asking the question in Nigeria as well: is it that our political leaders are complicit in all of this? Is that the reason why they treat the bandits and the kidnappers with kid gloves, but then they go after the protesters with guns are blazing? And this suspicion came to light again when news broke that the Katsina State, Katsina is in the north of Nigeria, that Katsina State plans to do what? To release 70 suspected bandits. If you're a regular listener to this program or you consume news from Nigeria, you must know about the concern from many people that bandits are never arrested, bandits are never charged to court. we hear sometimes of interventions by the Nigerian army. They say, oh, but we intervened there, we secured the release of some people, we intervened there, we killed some bandits, we intervened there, we foiled an attack here and there. But none of them, no bandit ever get arrested. None is ever charged to court. And you have to be asking, if your military interventions have been that effective, how is it that you're not able to arrest anyone? Nobody has been charged to court. Nobody has been made to face the wrath of the law for the wickedness that they have visited on the people of Nigeria. And in time past, we will hear statement policies like this, policies to the effect that, oh, bandits will be arrested and then would be reoriented. You're going to take to some orientation camps, and then they will be released back into society. They were called repentant terrorists, and which by definition should be an oxymoron, really. Repentant terrorists. And I mean, that was the hogwash that was sold to the nation at that time. So now Katsina State plans to release 70 suspected bandits. So if they have suspected bandits in their custody, it would mean that some arrests were made. So some arrests were made, now they're going to be released. And this report that I'm monitoring on channelstv.com says Katsina defends the planned release of 70 suspected bandits. According to channelstv.com, says the Katsina State government has explained the rationale behind its move to facilitate the release of 70 suspected bandits currently undergoing criminal trials over their alleged involvement in banditry activities. The measure is, according to the state government, aimed at consolidating and broadening the existing peace deal between communities affected by insecurity in 15 local government areas of the state and repentant bandits. Did you hear that? Repentant bandits. So when you see this kind of, when you get to know of this kind of policy being made official by governments at different levels in Nigeria, again, you ask yourself, is this naivety? Are they naive? So much so they do not understand how virulent is this ideology? Are they just foolish that they don't really have a clue of what is going on, or are they complicit in all of this? Are they complicit in all of this? And this is a reminder to us on the Lord's side that we have to be clear-eyed about the evil that we face and to decry it indeed. And I go to yet another evil, which is another instance of the evil that we engaged with on this platform on Monday. Remember that on Monday we decried the prevalence of medical negligence in Nigeria. And a member of this community, when we published our Monday's episode, reached out to me and said, oh, thank you for that engagement, that 30 years ago she had a brush with it as well, which is sad. And of course, it was the matter of the unfortunate death of Chimamanda Adichie's 21-month-old son that brought it into the limelight again. And after that, many people have found their voices and are able to also bring to limelight their different cases of medical negligence, and one that has gained traction on social media would be the death of a woman, Aishatu Umar, who reportedly passed away after months of severe abdominal pain following a surgery carried out in September 2025 at a medical facility in Kano State. According to reports, she endured persistent pain for several months, making repeated visits back to the hospital. It was only days before her passing that further medical tests were reportedly conducted, revealing a serious issue linked to the earlier surgery. Sadly, she passed away before corrective measures could be completed. She is survived by her husband and 5 children. The family has described the situation as a case of alleged medical negligence and is calling on relevant authorities to investigate and ensure. You know what happened was that those who carried out the surgery, the first surgery, forgot scissors in the womb of this woman. We have to look for another word for carelessness. That's negligence of the highest order. And on Monday, we made the point that this is not just a systems issue, this is a moral issue. It is the issue of people who have a duty of care, not understanding that duty of care, not taking care, not minding, not caring. And then when she went back to the hospital and complained, somebody must have dismissed her complaints with the wave of her hand. Don't worry, it's surgery, don't worry, the pains will come. Lord, I just pray that we will not be at the mercy of a healthcare system that is this negligent, this careless, this immoral. So you have every time, in many instances, medical personnel in Nigeria just dismissing with the wave of a hand. Somebody is complaining, I have pain, said, it's just the surgery. Don't worry, go home. Just do some, without taking care, without taking the pains to investigate. But if you talk to members of the medical community, they say, look, do you want to kill us? Do you know how much pressure is on us? And I just need to go to any general hospital in Nigeria. You know that these people work under tremendous pressure. Anytime I go there and I see the pressure on the medical personnel in Nigeria, I weep for this country. I weep knowing well that the sums that are daily stolen from this country, they are more than enough to have world-class health facilities in every local government in Nigeria. And this is the reason why no one will go unpunished among all the corrupt political leaders in Nigeria. And that's why all of us who are on the Lord's side should not be part of them. Don't even aim to be part of them at all. Because the curses they bring on themselves, those curses cannot imagine on themselves and their generation who don't know the Lord. The curses are not imaginable. And the wrath of God that will confront them on the day of judgment if they do not repent and make restitution, you cannot even imagine it. As I said on Monday, the pressure of work is not excuse for medical personnel to be negligent. If you have taken up a case, you focus on it and do it well. And for those who because of corruption have made our different hospitals to be mere death like death centers, well, let them not forget that there is God in heaven. He sees, he knows, and he's going to punish them. He's going to punish them. Many people say that, look, if you look at the lives of these people, you see that they're actually receiving punishment from God in their different families. I'm not surprised. You can't get away with murders like this. You can't get away with this act of wickedness. You think God is not a righteous God? He's a righteous God. And you think you're going to get away stealing the money of Nigeria and depriving many people of care to which they are entitled by virtue of the provision that God has made for this country? You think you're going to get away with it? So both the government officials who are not allowing resources to get to our hospitals and not taking care of our medical personnel, and the medical personnel who themselves are just careless and negligent, must know that there will be consequences. There will be consequences. God is a righteous judge, and he does not look away from evil. He punishes evil. He does. But today I want to end on a note of hope and of thanksgiving. Somebody posted on social media, wrote saying there is still hope. David Adefeso, that's the name of the person who wrote. He said, David Adefeso congratulates his brother who got married for the first time at the age of 59 and is now expecting his first child with a young bride. David Adefeso, the Nigerian-American entrepreneur who dated American singer Tamar Braxton, has congratulated his brother on his wedding. He revealed that his 59-year-old brother just got married for the first time. He added that he is now expecting a child with his wife. 55-year-old David, pictured in black, shared a photo of the newlyweds and wrote, Kudos to my brother, Kunle, who at 59 years old got married for the very first time last Christmas. He recently announced to the family this Christmas that he and his beautiful wife are expecting their very first child. Congratulations to Kunle and blessing. For those still searching for their lifetime partners, know that there is still hope. That's why this gentleman wrote, celebrating with his brother who married for the first time at the age of 59. Now, who is not expecting his very first child? God works in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. And those who know God, those who know the God of the Bible, they know that nothing is impossible for him, that in him and with him all things are possible, and that he does not reckon days and years as we do reckon them. If the Lord has said that this will be done, it will be done. And if you have faith, you will see the glory of God. And so with this story, I want to encourage anyone out there who may be thinking, oh, this prayer can no longer be answered, or I can never find joy again, and this request of mine, which I so desire, will not come again because, well, time has passed and it will not happen again. Do not lose hope. Keep praying. Whatever you want with all your heart that is noble, that is God glorifying, and you truly desire it, keep saying it to God. This one thing we know. You may not know whether he wants to give it to you, but you must know that he can give it to you. He can give it to you at any time, and that he delights in doing the impossible. That's what he delights in. He delights in walking, in stepping in, just at the time when all the glory will be given to him. So we join this gentleman in congratulating his older brother, and we pray that it will please the Lord to give him the life to enjoy the new family that he has created, and that this story will encourage many people out there to say, well, I know the Lord. It's never late. It is us human beings who keep records and who reckon days and months according to our own different calendar. Abraham himself thought that it was too late. He said to himself, well, at this age, when he was already in his 70s and 80s, he must have said to himself, well, at this point, it is my servant who is going to inherit me, because what can possibly happen there? God waited until they had become biologically incapable of having children, both himself and his wife, and then God gave them the child of promise. I pray the Lord will make you glad and answer your prayers and surprise you for good, so much so that you will break into dancing and you will say, wow, talo dabi Ọlọ́run wa. You know what that song says? It says, who is like unto you? That is the song of anyone. That has been the song of everyone in the scriptures who received divine visitation from God. From Anna, Anna not say who is like unto our God, and then Mary not say in not the same example, but saying who is like unto our God. And may you have reasons this year to also sing that song, to look up and wonder, say who is like unto our God. In Jesus' name, amen. I want to thank you for staying with us this morning on Gospel Best Radio for On the Lord's Side, Christian Perspectives on News and Current Events. I hope to be with you again tomorrow by the grace of God. Whatever you do today, please remain firmly on the Lord's side. God bless you. God bless you very good.
You are listening to GospelBellsRadio.com, the Christian internet radio with a mission to engage the culture with the mind of Christ. Keep listening and invite others too. God bless you.
Engaging the culture with the mind of Christ.
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 Engaging the culture with the mind of Christ.